If you're working on changing your nutrition habits or maybe your exercise or a combination of both, I think it's really important that you focus on other things and how that's improved your life as opposed to numbers on the scale and measurements and size and all of those things. This case study is a perfect example of why we want to do that. Now, this particular individual, before coming in June of 2018, was really struggling because she was trying to keep her intake to about 1,000 to 1,200 calories a day. And she was logging that obsessively. And yes, some days of the week she was able to do that. On average, about 4 days out of the week, she would only eat about 1,000 to 1,200 calories a day. But the other days she would get so hungry she couldn't stick to it. And those days she was eating like 3,000, 3,500 calories by eating out and doing all this stuff. Also, by trying to stick to 1,000 to 1,200, there were some days, not every week, but a couple times a month where she would binge at night because it just wasn't sustainable to be eating that low of calories. But she thought that's what an appropriate calorie deficit was based on what she found online and all those things. So she was really confused, and that's what led her to come in to see us, right? So she comes in, we do her resting metabolic rate test, and we calculated her total daily needs for a day. So resting metabolic rate, including getting up and moving around, including exercise, blah, blah, blah. Total daily needs were 2,050, 2050. So we said, hey, with a calorie deficit of about 300 calories or so, you should be eating 1,700 calories a day, but I don't want you to come below 1,700. She, of course, was like, oh my God, I can't eat more. But she tried it, and she did. She started eating more calories and was eating 1,700 calories a day, sometimes 1,800, but kind of right around there, right? And what she was finding is that her energy was so much better. She was no longer binging, even though that was a couple times a month, that wasn't happening at all. She wasn't way overeating on the weekends or feeling this like dire craving for carbs and sweets. All of those other factors were drastically improved. Then we look at her body composition, and when I look at this, I'm like, yeah, this is slow weight change and slow fat loss, but it's excellent. However, she was not happy with this, right? Now, this is not a criticism of this person, but she thought that she should have lost more weight than this from June to October and was really frustrated that she wasn't feeling those changes in her clothes and her measurements. So she actually stopped coming. And a lot of that was because she was under the impression that she should be losing 3 pounds a week or 2 pounds a week or whatever it might be. And so she didn't think that this progress was good enough. Again, not a criticism, but it's a reason why we want to focus on all of those other things. She had improvements in hunger and cravings and no binges and energy and all of those things, but that didn't outweigh that she thought that this was too slow.